Imagine this, a steaming bowl filled with tender beef and rich gravy. Carrots and potatoes peek through, promising comfort in every bite. This is Irish beef stew, a dish that embodies the heart of Ireland. Perfect for St. Patrick's Day, it's a celebration of flavour and tradition. Let's get cooking. This stew is more than just a meal, it's a taste of history passed down through generations. It's about sharing good food with the people you love. And it's about creating memories that will last a lifetime. Every ingredient in Irish beef stew has a purpose. Each one contributes to the overall taste, texture and aroma, making this dish a true comfort food. Let's take a closer look at what makes this stew so special. We use stewing beef cut into cubes for a melt-in-your-mouth texture. The beef is the heart of the stew, providing a rich, savoury flavour that forms the foundation of the dish. When cooked slowly, the beef becomes incredibly tender, absorbing the flavours of the other ingredients. Onions chopped add a sweetness that deepens the flavour. They also bring a subtle complexity to the stew, balancing the richness of the beef. As the onions cook, they caramelize, releasing their natural sugars and enhancing the overall taste. Carrots, cut into chunks, bring colour and a bit of sweetness. They add a vibrant orange hue to the stew, making it visually appealing. The natural sweetness of the carrots complements the savoury elements, creating a harmonious blend of flavours. Potatoes, peeled and chopped, will break down and thicken the stew. They act as a natural thickening agent, giving the stew a hearty, satisfying consistency. The potatoes also absorb the flavours of the broth, making each bite a burst of deliciousness. And of course, we can't forget the herbs and spices. These are the secret ingredients that elevate the stew from good to great. They add layers of flavour, making each spoonful a delightful experience. Fresh thyme and bay leaves add an earthy aroma. These herbs infuse the stew with a fragrant herbal note that complements the other ingredients perfectly. The thyme adds a subtle hint of mint, while the bay leaves provide a slightly floral, almost tea-like flavour. A pinch of salt and pepper enhances all the flavours. Salt brings out the natural flavours of the ingredients, while pepper adds a mild heat that balances the sweetness of the vegetables. Together, they ensure that every bite is well seasoned and delicious. Finally, beef stock forms the base of our rich and flavourful gravy. The stock is the backbone of the stew, providing a deep, savoury flavour that ties all the ingredients together. It creates a luscious, velvety sauce that coats the beef and vegetables, making the stew irresistibly delicious. When all these ingredients come together, they create a dish that's more than the sum of its parts. Each bite is a comforting blend of flavours and textures, making Irish beef stew a beloved classic. Whether you're enjoying it on a cold winter night or sharing it with family and friends, this stew is sure to warm your heart and soul. Before we start cooking, let's prepare our ingredients. Pat the beef cubes dry with paper towels. This helps them brown nicely. Chop the onions, carrots and potatoes into even-sized pieces. This ensures they cook evenly. Strip the thyme leaves from their stems. Have your bay leaves, salt, pepper and beef stock ready to go. Now we're ready to start cooking. Heat some oil in a large pot over medium-high heat. The choice of oil can make a difference. Olive oil adds a fruity note, while vegetable oil keeps it neutral. Make sure the oil is hot but not smoking, as this will help in achieving a perfect sear on the beef cubes. Sear the beef cubes in batches until browned on all sides. This step is crucial for developing a rich, deep flavour. Don't overcrowd the pot. Searing in batches ensures that each piece of beef gets a nice crust. This caramelization process, known as the Maillard reaction, is what gives the beef its complex, savoury taste. This adds depth of flavour. The browned bits left in the pot, known as fond, will dissolve into the stew, enriching the overall taste. Make sure to turn the beef cubes to get an even sear on all sides. Remove the beef and set aside. This temporary removal allows you to cook the vegetables without overcrowding the pot, ensuring they soften and release their flavours properly. Add the onions to the pot and cook until softened. Onions are the backbone of many dishes, providing a sweet and savoury base. Stir occasionally to prevent them from burning and to help them cook evenly. Add the carrots and cook for a few more minutes. Carrots add a subtle sweetness and a vibrant colour to the stew. Cooking them with the onions allows their flavours to meld together, creating a harmonious base for the stew. Return the beef to the pot. This step reintroduces the seared beef to the flavorful vegetable base, allowing the meat to absorb the aromatic flavors of the onions and carrots. Pour in the beef stock, making sure the beef is covered. The stock serves as the cooking liquid, infusing the beef and vegetables with its rich, savory essence. You can use homemade stock for the best flavor, or a good quality store-bought version if you're short on time. Add the thyme, bay leaves, salt and pepper. These herbs and seasonings enhance the stew's complexity. Thyme adds an earthy note, while bay leaves contribute a subtle bitterness that balances the richness of the beef. Seasoning with salt and pepper at this stage ensures the flavors meld together as the stew simmers. Bring the stew to a boil, then reduce the heat to low. Boiling helps to quickly bring all the ingredients up to temperature, while reducing the heat to a simmer allows the flavors to develop slowly and gently. This slow cooking process is key to tenderizing the beef and melding the flavors together. Cover and simmer for at least 2 hours or until the beef is tender. Patience is essential here. The long, slow simmering breaks down the tough fibers in the beef, resulting in a melt-in-your-mouth texture. The covered pot traps steam, keeping the stew moist and allowing the flavors to concentrate. Stir occasionally and check the liquid level, adding more stock if necessary to keep the beef submerged. Section 5. Serving up tradition. How to present your delicious Irish beef stew. This hearty and comforting dish is a staple in Irish cuisine, known for its rich flavors and tender meat. Whether you're serving it for a family dinner or a special occasion, presenting it well can make all the difference. After simmering, the stew will be thick and flavorful. Remove the bay leaves before serving. This step is crucial as bay leaves can be quite tough and are not meant to be eaten. They have done their job by infusing the stew with a subtle aromatic flavor. Now it's time to let the other ingredients shine. Ladle the stew into warm bowls. You can garnish it with a sprinkle of fresh parsley for a touch of color. The vibrant green of the parsley not only adds a pop of color, but also a fresh, herby note that complements the deep, savory flavors of the stew. Make sure the bowls are warm to keep the stew at the perfect temperature for serving. Irish beef stew is delicious on its own, but even better with sides. Traditional sides can elevate the meal and provide a variety of textures and flavors. Consider serving it with a selection of sides that complement the hearty nature of the stew. Serve it with crusty bread for dipping into the gravy. The bread soaks up the rich, flavorful gravy, making each bite a delightful combination of textures. The crusty exterior and soft interior of the bread pair perfectly with the tender meat and vegetables in the stew. Or try it with mashed potatoes or colcannon, a traditional Irish dish of mashed potatoes and cabbage. Mashed potatoes provide a creamy, smooth contrast to the chunky stew, while colcannon adds an extra layer of flavor with its mix of potatoes and cabbage. Both options are traditional and bring a taste of Ireland to your table. When serving, make sure each bowl has a generous portion of meat, vegetables, and gravy. The balance of ingredients ensures that every bite is full of flavor. The steam rising from the bowl adds to the sensory experience, making the dish even more inviting. For a complete dining experience, set the table with care. Add some candles for a cozy atmosphere and perhaps a glass of red wine to complement the rich flavors of the stew. The right ambience can make your meal feel even more special. Finally, remember that the best part of any meal is sharing it with loved ones. Enjoy the laughter, conversation, and the joy that comes from a well-prepared meal. Irish beef stew is more than just food, it's a way to bring people together and create lasting memories. The taste of home. Why this stew is more than just a meal. Irish beef stew is more than just a recipe. It's a symbol of warmth, comfort, and hospitality. It evokes memories of family gatherings and celebrations. This stew has been warming hearts and stomachs for generations. The aroma of this stew simmering on the stove fills the house with a sense of anticipation. It's the smell of home, of tradition, and of love. More than a recipe, sharing the love of Irish beef stews. This St. Patrick's Day, why not share this taste of Ireland with your loved ones? Gather your family and friends around the table and enjoy a bowl of this hearty and flavorful stew. Food has a way of bringing people together. It's a way to connect, to share stories, and to create memories. Your turn to celebrate, make this St. Patrick's Day unforgettable. Now that you know the secrets of making a delicious Irish beef stew, it's your turn to try it. Gather your ingredients and get cooking. Don't be afraid to experiment a little. Add a splash of Guinness for extra richness, or throw in some chopped bacon for a smoky flavor. The most important ingredient in any recipe is love. So put on your apron, pour yourself a glass of something nice, and enjoy the process. Slente, to good food and good company. From my kitchen to yours, I wish you a happy and delicious St. Patrick's Day. May your stew be flavorful, your company be merry, and your celebrations be filled with joy. Slente.